Hello. Good morning. It's a bit early in the day today. I got my coffee mixed with the golden milk. That's right, I'm addicted to this stuff. Hello, cosmic family. Feels good. Hear the dogs barking? It's a bit noisy. They always get very excited when someone walks the dog and they see a new dog. One of the neighbors, I think, has like at least 3 or 4 dogs. So last night I recorded a very important video about some very important information, but I forgot to mention a few things. So I'm going to share now some things that I forgot to mention in the video last night, and I'm gonna cut back and forth between the 2 videos. So stay tuned, and here it goes. So it's no secret that there is a deep state and a cabal. And the truth is, they've infiltrated about every major area of our life. Education. I start with education because it's the first thing most of us are introduced to, but before even education, most of us are born in a hospital. Most humans, not all. And they've infiltrated medicine, healthcare, entertainment, media in Hollywood, newspapers, or now everything is online, but you understand what I mean, all the media, big media companies, and religion. Not even gonna delve that deep into that today. And of course, government. So, there have been humans who have discovered that there is a reptilian factor in the forces that want to control us. And we have a reptilian brain. So, what that means is this reptilian energy and a reptilian being, we want to say, oh, we're so different, but we actually have a lot more in common with them. And a big part of that is this brain. And part of what makes these beings part of what they know and they understand is how to basically poke our reptilian brain. They're very good at this. So there's a lot in common that we do have with these beings. As I mentioned in the video last night, they know how to trigger our brain, our reptilian brain. That is why when the channeled messages come through, the most important thing they say, that Seven says, is be unreactive. And so many of the great spiritual teachings have been about that. Being unreactive, being present in the moment, and this is not the same as apathetic, where you pretend that nothing is happening. It's just stepping back and getting a broader perspective on everything. So this is the important thing that I left out, that comes through the channeled messages. So the way in which these forces work is through agents of chaos. Now, just as these beings work with agents of chaos, there's other entities, the Pleiadians and other angelic beings and ascended masters that work through agents of ascension. Now, you might already be aware of agents of ascension from, well, so many spiritual teachers have been agents of ascension. You might even be an agent of ascension yourself, or you might know agents of ascension. So this is how how it works, right? So, okay, so agents of chaos. Now, an agent of chaos chooses to be an agent of chaos with it intentionally or not intentionally. Basically, they're beings who are not connected to their true spiritual higher being. And so they are so focused on the outer world in terms of gaining power, money, success. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but when you are detached from this way of being, it is very easy for these reptilian energies to come in and to seduce these human beings with the temptation of saying, hey, how about you come and play for us? How about you come and do this work for us, and in exchange, this is what you're going to get. You're going to be part of this system. Now, it is not to say that the agents of chaos are evil. It just means that they have made this choice consciously or unconsciously, just as like you can make this choice consciously or unconsciously. And the truth is that the systems that these beings have set up are so, they dominate all the major areas of life. So most beings have been brought up within the system. So it is not very difficult for them to find agents of chaos. But here's the tricky part. The way that these beings are, they're very clever, is that the agents of chaos in a lot of ways feel like they are doing something good. It feels like they are bringing about this change by taking down something else that was bothering us. But behind that, the true elites, they're orchestrating it. This is what's tricky, because everybody gets caught up in it. Very well-meaning human beings who actually have a connection to their higher being, but their pull is so strong that someone says, well, my higher being says this, where instead it's not really their higher being. What it is, it's this deep influence that these elites have. They have such deep influence that most humans get confused and they think, no, this is my higher being saying, I need to participate in this. I need to participate in this way. This is the tricky part. And this is also the most difficult part to share with other humans. You might have maybe had this conversation with other people in your life, or you might have attempted to, and it seems that they don't want to listen because they think they're doing something good by thinking in a certain way, by expressing themselves in a certain way, and you're just sitting there and you're saying, oh, I wish you could understand it. I wish you could see beyond what you think you're seeing beyond of. You see, this is the beauty of how the elites have created control. It's like the magician, right? The magician says, pay attention to this, and this is what the agents of chaos do. They're the ones who go out there and create this whole thing, and the elites are saying, pay attention to that, pay attention to that. Where over here, they're doing something totally different that is now this is what's really creating the change, right? And the change is not always for the best. You understand? And so this is the biggest thing to pay attention to. That's why it's so important to unplug. It's why it's so important to deprogram from this way in which we've been raised, which has started so early on because our own parents were raised in a certain way. See, as souls arriving into human bodies, there's awareness. And so when the baby is in the womb, it's absorbing so much, and it's absorbing the state of the mother. And the mother is being obviously influenced by the environment around. And so if this environment around has already been ingrained into this way of being, well, this is how the mother is being influenced. And so that influence is already going in the baby. So this goes deep, cosmic family. And part, you can tell I'm so excited because I'm speaking so quickly. Part of what is so important about realizing that we are cosmic beings is to gain this broader perspective and to see what is there beyond just, see, when you're over here, okay, you can see things so much more clearly from all things. When you're over here, you can only see from this place, right? When you're over here, you can see all of it. So the elites have taken this broad perspective. This is what drives so many people mad, because they have this broad perspective because they've created a system in which they remain at the top, and so they can see all of this down there. But there's two parts to this. One is, if let's say we are down here, but we are able to gain even this broader perspective, right? Even beyond what they are seeing. From the source perspective, we can see all of it. And when you gain this broader perspective, there's no judgment, and you are more in a state which you can see what's happening, but then you can also understand and have a calmer perspective on what is important to come next. Not being this reactive, I've got to go and be reactive with everybody else. That drops your perspective from over here to down here. That's the first part. Second part is that this cannot exist with them on top here, with us at the bottom, unless we as pieces start to unplug from it, right? And what happens is it can fall apart. This thing cannot be with all the pieces down here. That's why as more humans unplug. And how do you unplug? I'm not going to go into this video on how to unplug, because it is not something that can be shared in a single video. But there are a few things, simple things. And this is what, when the channeled messages come through, what they share is how to unplug. And it's very simple. See, many humans think, well, if we only took these few humans down. The thing is, once we do take these humans, entities, other beings down, they will be replaced with other beings who will be tempted by the same thing that these other entities are tempted, which is they do not live by these principles of source, of compassion and well-being and love that is shared amongst everybody. It's a selfish way of being. This is what they want you to do, right? That's why a big part of it is to feel good. It feels selfish, but when you feel good and you share it with those around you, not just feeling good, you share it, but when we begin to truly share with each other, our state of well-being, our love and connection, what happens? We unplug from their way of being, which is pretty selfish, which is about concentrating everything here. And look, even the system of love and marriage, it was created to maintain the system, because it's not a system of sharing, it's a system of control. This is what, see, to share this with you and many other beings, in the beginning, it will blow most people's minds because it goes so deep. As I said, it's even in the system of marriage and relationships, we have this very selfish way of being that has been created to maintain us to be small, to be selfish and not sharing. Because when we begin to do that, well, we become too dangerous because the power is in our hands. As I mentioned, if we get unplugged from this, we are supporting this. We are the foundation of this whole thing. We are the foundation. So if we unplug and we create this sharing, right? It's this unity. It can't be, this can't be. It's a circle now. We are sharing. The geometry changes, okay? The way in which the system functions, it can't function anymore without us. That's why us unplugging, why it's so important. See, most humans, and this is the Pleiadians, they come forth so strongly with this, by the way. They are very clear to say that they do not mind, they want to inspire us, but they know that to inspire us, they have to break us out. Break us out of this system and this bubble that keeps getting pumped by these elites, and it keeps getting pumped with chemicals, with medications, with things that keep us in a trance, and news media and education that is completely set up to keep us enslaved, to turn us into good rule followers, and to keep us emotionally and intellectually addicted and codependent on this fictional system. This is so important, as you can tell. It gets me very excited. Partially is this delicious coffee with a golden milk. But truly it is about the importance of this. I am not speaking about this just simply from an intellectual point of view. I'm speaking about this from my personal experience. As I mentioned before, I was born in a communist country. I saw the fall of communism. I experienced civil war. I also experienced thugocracy, what it is like when people really promote these thug-like things because they want something different, but what they don't realize that what comes right next to it is another form of thugocracy. That is why the importance of living connected to the principles of source is so important. See, when you grew up in communism, well, there's no spiritual practice at all. Forget religious practice, of course that's taken out, but there's no religious practice. The only practice is the practice of what this couple people want you to believe. And it completely drains people of their inner power. It drains people of their inner power. So when you are drained of your inner power and it's being sucked off, as in this case by these elites, then we're not gonna make the right choices. That's why even when the channeled messages come through, 7, the most important thing that they share is it's about you plugging into this inner power, finding a community, and that is also so important because they want you to be separated. You know, now we have this, okay, the internet is helping us connect, but in real life, so many of you that I've spoken to, you say it, in real life I do not have this community because it's intentional. We think, oh, it's happened because, oh, the industrial age and of how people move away. No, it is intentional because the more we are split off in person, that true connection, you know, you've had those moments where you've connected so deeply with someone. And that one-on-one or that group IRL connection was so strong, nothing can break it. Nothing can break it, right? And this is what they want for us. This is why during this time of the coronavirus, we were so instructed to stay at home, do not leave, do not gather together. Forget about seeing your grandparents because you might kill them. But really what it is they want this further splitting off of us because then there cannot be a sharing of wisdom. And sure, this is important, what is happening right now. But what is even more important is this IRL connection where there's this true vibrational exchange between us, between humans that can see and feel the truth. And in this coming together, and this harmonious coming together, and really appreciating the earth and really understanding the earth, not just the earth, but understanding how reality works. This is when we unplug from that we just really begin to embrace our inner power. And once we embrace our inner power, that's when we can go and say, aha, now I understand what is important to do. What happens though is that they've created a system where siphoning off power in people's inner power, and then they'll throw something at humans and say, this is what you need to worry about. So all these spiritually and emotionally codependent and starved humans go and support something, and they think, oh, this is so good what we're doing, but instead they are being played. Do you understand? Wow, it is huge what is happening. When I connected with 7, they truly connected with me, and this is what they say. If I will be doing a separate video on this, how to connect with interdimensional beings, is you can put the call out there consciously or unconsciously, but they will make the connection when you are ready. And for me, it happened during Civil War. I was not asking for it. I do remember though, as gunshots were going off and war was going off outside of where we were living, hungry because, you know, there were no supermarkets. Literally you wake up one day and the little farmers are not there anymore because it's so dangerous. So we're scrambling there eating lemons because it's the only thing we had to eat. But I remember as a girl sitting and really just knowing that there was something else. And I remember once I make the connection with something, I'm not gonna even go into that right now because it's a very intense story. But after we left, I remember succinctly they saying, and this is something that I shared, I think when they came through in one of the channeled messages, they said, this chaos will continue. And they said, we understand you and your family are going to the new land, and it is important the work you'll be doing there because there is going to be a major shift there, and that is why it's important for you to that you have experienced this, so you know it happens. See, what most people think, it's taking them by surprise, and the truth is the chaos will continue, and there's other things that will take humans by surprise who are not ready. So this is why you can see why I'm so excited about this. Excited in a way, the importance of sharing this message, because they are fighting hard to keep our attention on the systems they have created. And what it is important for us to do is to collect that inner power now, to understand what it is like, the true art of upliftment, so that we cannot be controlled. And as we do that as individuals, it is important then to come together and meet others, because apart, no matter how much inner power that you gain, if you are alone in this journey, at some point you're going to get tired. See, what happens is, you might experience this in your life, when you are alone for a certain amount of time, it feels good. You say, you know what, I feel good to be unplugged and to be on my own, right? We've all had those moments. But after certain times, when it is not this aloneness anymore that is chosen, when you just find out, wow, I do not have a lot of people around me, I don't really have any good friends left, well, that loneliness wears on a human being, because we are beings who are meant to share with each other. They want us to be separated. You know how many more people have been living in separate homes? You think that's by chance? You think that's just because technology has evolved? No, it is because these elites understand that the more separated that we are, the more alone and the more individual. See, it's not about letting go of your individuality. As a matter of fact, in a group, individuality can shine, because we all have incredible things to offer. But when we are put off, alone in cubicles, see, cubicles are not just an office thing anymore. Guess what? Cubicles are a way of living. If you notice, they want us to shrink up, right? They want us to live in tiny cubicles. Why? Because in tiny cubicles, we can be more easily controlled. In tiny cubicles, we can just be plugged into their matrix and siphoned off as like batteries. And then you just get to the end of your life, and that's why most people are, what was the point of this? Why did I come here? That's why so many humans get to this point. Why did I come here? Because life is meant to be shared. This is huge. See, the biggest thing in their next biggest plan is they want to separate us even more and put us into even more tiny cubicles. They want us to reduce our life even more. They want us to reduce our connection to nature. They want us to reduce, do you understand 5G vaccines? What is that? Is cutting off our vibration from the healing vibration of the earth. It already started with the food, right? See, the earth has incredible healing vibration. You know, guess what? You know who else has incredible healing vibrations? We do. Have you noticed how when you get together with humans that you love, how good it feels, how healing it feels, and how that loneliness and separation, how much more sick it makes most people? You know, there was something to this. Okay, I'm going to end this soon because this has gotten to be a long video, but this is so huge, and I will come back more with this because this is the key, and this is the key to unlocking what is important for the next step in order to unplug from this matrix and to actually free ourselves. See, there was, I believe it was Malcolm Gladwell who wrote a book about the outliers, and he was looking at human beings that are healthy. And the biggest thing that he noticed, that there wasn't diet, though diet is obviously very important, but the most important thing was the connection that all they had with each other. He noticed this group of Italians that were eating, you know, sausages and fatty foods and carbs, and yet they were happier and healthier. And this is key. Why? Because they had this connection with each other. And this is what they want to take away from us. Now you could say, oh, what about internet and social media? Look at the internet and social media. Even a lot of it now is being sort of taken over. They're not allowing certain points of view to come out. They don't want certain messages to come out. I have noticed in the videos I've shared myself, when I start sharing certain messages, all of a sudden they're not sharing them, which, by the way, the biggest thing that I ask is that you share these messages, the channeled messages, do all those things that basically tell the algorithm, hey, this is important, people need to hear this. So, like, comment, subscribe, but the most important thing is share. That is the most important thing, because this is how we make that connection with each other, because this is what they want to cut off, because they know when they cut this off, this is how we can be controlled. And they've done this. This is why schools were set up. You think, oh, we go to school to socialize with each other. But the truth is, the way in which they scramble our brains, even the way in which we are socialized in schools, becomes scrambled. And that's why bullying goes up, and this separation of, the weird people and the cool people and all this. We are told, oh, this is human nature. Is it? Or is it the systems that have been created to scramble our true inner power so that we then behave a certain way and think, oh, this is human nature? And this is connected to that reptilian brain, because they know how to incite our reptilian brain so they can keep us in a reactive state. So, dear cosmic family, I'm going to wrap this up because I know I'm going off, but it is so important to understand this. It is so important to understand this. See, the most essential spiritual teachings are there to allow us to see our inner power, to put it into practice, and to connect, and to share, and to truly become beings that bring harmony to the earth. Not beings that are just like, I'm just gonna take. I'm small, so I just have to take. I'm small. This is what happens. See, we think, oh, we're small because I'm giving. No, you're small because you've been taught to, they've been siphoning off your power. So you're like, oh, I'm just gonna take, and just hide over here, and just be small over here. Oh, I don't have anything to give. I'm not gonna give. And what happens? When you fill up, you say, I want to give. I want to give. And the biggest thing I have to give is this love, is this compassion, is this excitement and joy for life, and this connection with others. Instead, they want us to be small and cut off, and feeling that we have nothing to give, but we have so much to give. It's just understanding what we are giving and how we are giving it. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take a moment to thank yourself. Take a moment to thank this earth for everything that she's giving us. Take a moment to thank those who are truly standing up for what really matters and what is really going on, and how to share the truth. Wow. You're blessed. We're blessed. Sending you love.